Welcome back to another video. And in this video, obviously, by the thumbnail, we're building the front suspension. And it is a lot harder than the rear that we already done. The reason why we done the rear first was obviously because of the power plant, getting that all positioned in there. And that way we can get axles made and so forth and whatnot. I'd normally like to tackle the hardest jobs first, and if I was to pick the hardest job of this car, I would say it would be the front suspension. Now, there's just a lot more involved. Lamborghini front ends, if you haven't seen inside there, are very tight. There is not a lot of room for anything really. So everything's condensed down, and especially the top arm. So a lot of difficulties, even where we're redesigning the actual suspension mounts, and it's very fiddly, and it's not impossible, it's just very tricky. So that's what we're gonna try and get through in this episode. I'm not too sure how far we're gonna get through the suspension in this episode. We'll see how we go. Hopefully we can get something close. Maybe hopefully we can get 2 arms done and maybe a prototype spindle. We may have to change the spindle a little bit for our roll center and things. Who knows, we might have to change the arms if they hit, because the wheels got to turn. We'll see how we go. A little update before we get started on the front suspension. The last episode we made our engine mounts, and I hit them with some nice paint here, and I think it looks great. I really like the color. I think so. There was a comment about it being a yellow Lambo. I'm sorry, but it isn't staying yellow. This car isn't staying yellow. It's going white. Okay, we're gonna paint this whole car. I'm gonna put it on a rotisserie when the time comes, and every little bit of this car is gonna go white, nice and clean. I've got some other ideas, but yeah. And I also think I should paint the wishbones and the spindles this same color. I really like that. It's like that light hammer tone sort of finish, metallic-y sort of, and also it hides some of the little imperfections. So because I am not a professional, I am still learning, so I need every little bit of help I can get. We have to start by getting all the geometry off the front and writing everything down, so then we can jump on AutoCAD, and then we can start the design process and figure out what this original mounts are doing, and work out the geometry and stuff. And I was gonna make another jig, but I'm gonna try and just skip that part. The reason why I built a jig for the rear was mainly for me to get a better understanding of suspension, standing up instead of being underneath the car, and like, you know, it being down here on stilts on stands. So I thought for me to try and learn geometry, what it does when things are actuating and stuff, a jig to me on a bench so I could walk around it and measure and stuff like that was easier. But I think now that we've done the rear, I think we can get away with not doing a jig. We can just sort of measure it all up and design something and put it on, and then maybe articulate it on the car, I think, just to save some time. So and everything went pretty well on the rear. I don't think we had to, I'm trying to remember if we made any stuff ups now. Do you guys remember? I can't remember. I don't feel like we...
2 hours later.
I think I just made a lot. I think I made like maybe 3 types of wishbones, different, I think. I don't know, but I don't feel like it. Look, it's all good. It's fine. See? Let's do the front. we're cutting out the version 1 prototype spindle. So hopefully we don't have to make any adjustments or changes, but we're just cutting out of some 2mm, so we're not wasting good material, just some off-cut stuff. And test it all out, and fingers crossed we got it right, and then we can continue. Probably should be filming all this stuff for you, but being prototype stuff, sort of sometimes, you know, there's some mistakes and stuff, and stuff doesn't line up, but that's sort of what it looks like. It's definitely a lot fatter, a lot bigger than the, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but it's definitely a bit chubbier than the back one and taller. So, and that is because like I wanted to keep the same spindle at the front, so that could be sort of interchangeable kind of thing. Like obviously we don't have an axle going through, and this part here is different where it bolts up, but I sort of wanted it to be the basic sort of like a blank. But yeah, because of the roll center, I wanted the roll centers like close from the front and the back. So to do that, well, we had to change the length, and that's why also this isn't center of the hub, to get that lower wishbone lower, and then also to change the angle on the top, so we can get them wishbones at the right angle for our roll center. So a little bit of fiddling, but it's looking good so far. And then we'll just see if we got enough steel to cut out some jigs, and we can just rest it all there, and yeah, see if it's gonna work, and then yeah, we'll use them as a jig, and maybe weld up some wishbones, and if all goes well, we'll have some wishbones mounted up and some brackets on, and have this thing on wheels. Well, there we have it. That front hub all bolts up, and actually these bolts were off my hoist when I bought it, so they're the right bolts. You know, I was just talking about not wasting any good material. I got no scrap steel, any offcuts, so we ripped the brand new sheet aluminium. Hey to boo boo. These uniball joints, the C-clip should be on the bottom because of the way the forces are, so otherwise it'd be all the force will be pushing on that C-clip, and we don't want that. We want it to be on the retainer, so I have to cut these tacks and flip that uniball over so it's the correct way. that's where I'm at, just fiddling with templates, and then I can trace it on the computer and get something happening. So we have started the front mounts. Looks a little bit confusing maybe. We've got some slots here, just makes it more accurate when doing both sides. When we flip it over, but originally obviously there was just these two little M8s, but we're still going to use the M8s. We're going to bolt this here, but because the heim is a lot further out than where the original one was, it was stronger when that bushing and it was bolted directly there, but when you've got something bolted there, then another bolt out further, that is then weak because it's like a lever and it's going to snap them. So that's why I'm bolting this, then welding the big mount on, then this plate behind is going to be welded to the main chassis structure all the way around, and then it's going to be plated on top, underneath and on the sides, and all fully welded, and then that there can't snap anywhere because it's all mounted. But we're just going to keep these bolts in there, just helps to obviously put it in the right spot, and just makes it easy to fabricate and weld it all up. Now this one is the trickiest one because it's recessed in here. I've had to get my TIG and practice and see where I'm going to fit before actually doing anything, because of the mount, it's going to be in the way. So I am going to still be able to get some nice welds in there and still get some 2 bolts. So it will work, it will be strong, I hope. I think I'm certain it'll be strong. But this is the little mount here. So a few episodes ago when we did the rear, so that's pretty much what the rear looks like. What I done, little jigsaw puzzle. So that's them there. So it's pretty much doing that style, and jigsaw and putting them all together, and then plus, yeah, so it'll be fully welded, and then we're going to be able to try and get some welds on the main structure there as well. So yeah, I'm going to try and TIG spot weld this all up, see if it fits good, see how it mounts, and then if it all goes well, we can clean it up, fully weld it, and yeah, that's the top mounts done. Just tack this one up for now, bolted it on. This one is still loose. Now I forgot that we have to bolt one side up first, then bolt this, and then weld it, because if these here aren't perfect, it won't fit in. So we have to make sure this is spot on. So we're gonna bolt this heim here, make sure that goes in. Oh, so close. So close. Now, this doesn't normally happen, but that lined up pretty spot on. Yeah. I tell you what, AutoCAD is next level, eh? Like, honestly, you can just... I'm slowly getting better and better. It's like, I had them slits, like, and them holes, like, I didn't think it was gonna line up, like, but obviously the jigs that I made and the measurements are all pretty spot on, so I pretty much just had to tap that into them slits that were there, because I mean, this is fixed here. If this is fixed, and obviously it can't go left, it can't go right because of that, the misalignment spaces, and that's bolted in there. So I normally then bolt this up to here and then weld that, but I put some guides in there and it just lined up perfect. So that's a win. sucker in there. There's a few spot welds in there, pretty heavy ones. Yeah, that was a mish. I had that plate somewhere. Where did I have it? Oh, here. So I had this fella, and that was going to go in behind there. And then I thought, well, I think I'm just overdoing it. I don't really need that to go in there, when literally to strengthen this, really, I mean, it's bolted here, but if I can just weld a piece from there to there and just join that, and then that's going to stop any torsion as well. So, and then same on the bottom, just weld it there, that'll stop the torsion. So it'll just be bolted here and then welded there to there, and that will be suffice. I may have to move these holes for the uni balls closer in, so to bring that wheel in, but we'll just wait and see. I'll keep going and put it all on. And these lines here, they're kind of nearly gone now, but you can sort of see here these two lines, that's the rear wheel and that's the front. So that's my guide to tell me how far out. Otherwise, yeah, just have to change the offset of the wheels maybe, but then the brakes come into play and all that sort of thing. So yeah, and I don't know how far we can go without hitting the rotor as well, because the big disc's going to be there. So the further I move that in, the closer I'm going to be to the rotor. But again, don't have the brakes yet to figure that out. But yeah, we'll just trial and error. That's all we can do. But at the moment, not too many big errors again, so that's good. Well guys, I think we're going to call this video here. It's going to take a little bit longer, I think, so it might be a couple of videos on the front suspension. The front, we're going to get away with a couple of things with the front spindle though, with time. When we don't have to put a bearing carrier or a bearing in there, because it's a little bit different there. So the process in some areas are going to be a little bit quicker. But that's it for now. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.